Richard Knotz walked through the upscale corporate apartment he'd been living in, checking he hadn't missed anything in his bedroom or bathroom. He already knew he hadn't. Packing up and leaving this place was part of the ritual for him, but there was another reason he was keeping himself occupied. As he made a circuit through the spacious kitchen, he felt Blaze's blue eyes on him. A twisting nausea rolled into the back of Richard's mind, but it had nothing to do with how he was feeling. He ignored it. Less than an hour to freedom. 60 minutes until his head would be entirely his own again. Blaze hadn't even started packing, as if that'd stave off the inevitable. As if another temporary bonded couple wasn't scheduled to take their place in a few hours. They'd been in this apartment for 3 months, as Richard and Blaze had been, and then Richard would be back, but not with Blaze. Just once, he wanted to make it through the bond-severing day without needless emotional complications. Apparently, he wasn't that lucky, so he made another pass through his bathroom. His gaze trailed over the marble countertops, deep tub, and separate glass-enclosed shower. Yep, he had his toothbrush. No toiletries left in the vanity. The bedroom, with its king-sized bed dressed in soft gray Egyptian cotton linens, was equally devoid of personal belongings, and the dirty clothes hamper in the walk-in closet stood empty. Unable to think of anything else to check for a third time, he admitted defeat and headed to the living room. The goddamn mage better show up soon, or this was going to get uncomfortable. More uncomfortable. Blaze searched his face, a touch of sadness written in the lines of his full lips, and Richard suppressed a sigh. He'd figured an incubus would be able to keep their shit together better than this. Sex was their whole thing, and he'd been so careful not to send any mixed signals. Plus, their scents weren't remotely compatible, which was why Blaze had been perfect for this arrangement. Smoking hot, amazing in bed, and totally wrong for Richard. 3 months bonded to someone so they could film nodding scenes shouldn't engender feelings of true love. But somehow, it always did. The endorphins released by the mind-blowing orgasms eclipsed every shred of logic and reason his co-stars possessed. It was the one downside to the bonding contracts he did for MateHub. He was the site's top star, his scenes drawing in a ridiculous number of views considering only the paranormal community, and a few select humans, could access the site at all. It had magical protections to keep the uninitiated out. If you knew, you knew, and the people who knew couldn't get enough of his knot. The money was great, the sex was even better, but every time he did one of these contracts, it ended like this. Best to get it over with. So, what's the first thing you plan to do with your freedom? Freedom? Blaze asked, his brow furrowing. Richard nodded. Now that you won't have an unnecessary presence in your head. Blaze's frown deepened. I hadn't thought. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. These last few months, they've been good, right? Only years of practice kept Richard from groaning. Yeah, man, it's been great. I think you might have ruined me for sex with anyone else, Blaze said, trying to force a laugh. Richard chuckled as well, but there was no humor in it. You're going to have a hard time finding work if that's the case, but you can tell your agent to contact mine and see if we can do another scene together. He wouldn't have offered if he hadn't been damn certain Daniel would run interference for him. I don't know. After the last 3 months, I'm not sure I can imagine having sex with you without that knot of yours. Damn it. There was hope in his eyes. Why did they always have hope? What did he ever do to make them believe there was hope? Maybe our agents can line something up the next time I'm on a bonding contract. What do you mean? Richard shrugged. You kept me way busier than most, but I always managed to squeeze in a few scenes between the main ones. No point in letting my knot go to waste on days we aren't filming. While he might need to be bonded to do it, once he was, his knot didn't care who was wrapped around it. It wasn't like this was a true bond. It was a business transaction, and nothing more. Wait, those days you had to go into the office? What did you think I was doing? Paperwork. You must have felt me get off through the bond. So, yeah, have your agent reach out to mine and let him know you're interested in doing a scene when I've got a bond.